Hello everybody, this is Gareth Cahoon Speaks back here with another video. I'd like you to hit the subscribe bar, give me a thumbs up if you like the video, or hit the notification bell if you want to see my next post. Or otherwise you could donate to my ministry and the charities that I support at garethcahoon3 at gmail.com on PayPal. A white supremacist leader sentenced to 15 years in prison for plot to poison New York City's Jewish kids. National Security Assistant Attorney General John Eisenberg said in a Wednesday statement that the sentencing of Chikashvili had taken a monster off our streets. A Georgian white supremacist group leader was sentenced to 15 years in prison on Wednesday for planning and soliciting racial mass killings, including a plot to poison New York City's Jewish school children, the US Department of Justice announced. After having been extradited from Moldova last May, maniac murder cult NKY leader Mikhail Chikashvili, also known as Commander Butcher, has pleaded guilty in November to soliciting hate crimes and providing instructions to make bombs in Ryson to further his organisation's goals of accelerationism, ethnic cleansing, and racial supremacy. National Security Assistant Attorney General John Eisenberg said in a Wednesday statement that the sentencing of Chikashvili has taken a monster off our streets and protected our communities, at least for a time. According to the criminal complaint, the DOJ had passed statements by the US Embassy in Moldova. Then 20-year-old Chikashvili attempted in 2023 to solicit, unbeknownst to him, an undercover FBI agent to commit bombings and arson against Jews and racial minorities. Murder, brutal beatings, arson, and bombings. The agent was told that they could apply to join MKY by providing videos of murder, brutal beatings, arson, or bombings. Video posted by MKY members in private chats allegedly depicted beatings, stabbings, and other assaults. Poisoning and arson are the best options for murder, Chikashvili allegedly said. The neo-Nazi leader plotted a New York Eve attack in New York City involving an operative dressed as Santa Claus handing out poison candy to racial minorities, targeting the Brooklyn Jewish community. In January, the plan evolved to target the Brooklyn Jewish community schools and children with ricin-based poison on Jewish holidays. Chikashvili provided materials and instructions to an undercover FBI agent on how to create the poison. He reportedly wanted the attack to be a bigger action than Breivik, referring to Norwegian neo-Nazi Anders Behring Breivik, who murdered 77 people in a 2011 Norway mass shooting and bombing. The Department of Justice Civil Rights Division Assistant Attorney General Harmeet K. Dillian said in a Wednesday statement that those who plan abhorrent acts of anti-Semitic and racially motivated violence will not find refuge in the dark corners of the internet. Yet Chikashvili machinations and solicitation of terrorism extended further than the 2023 plots. Since 2021, Chikashvili has distributed his hate handbook manifesto to MK members and other radicals. The handbook encourages followers to commit school shootings, use child suicide bombers, and execute vehicle rammings against minorities in attacks during outdoor events. In the document, a key tool in the group's radicalisation and recruitment efforts, the MKY leader claimed to have committed murder for his group's objectives. I can proudly say I've murdered for the white race and Chikashvili was extradited from Moldova to the US on May 22nd after being arrested in Xinjiang. In July, FBI Counterterrorism Division Assistant Director David Holstead said in a Wednesday statement that the extradition showed once again that those who try to harm our citizens will not be able to hide overseas from the FBI and the Justice Department prosecutors. The defendant recruited others to commit violent acts against the Jewish community and racial minorities, and he will now pay a steep price for his crimes, said Halstead. The DOJ said that a 17-year-old Nashville school shooter live streamed his attack last January and attributed his actions in part to MKY, with the manifesto explicitly mentioning Czechoslovakia. One person was murdered and another wounded before the shooter committed suicide at Antioch High School. In August 2024, another person live streamed himself stabbing 5 people outside Ishkenisher Mosque in Turkey. He wore a tactical vest emblazoned with Nazi symbols and posted links to the Hater's Handbook with a manifesto again referencing Czechoslovakia. Last March, 19-year-old Nevin Thundry Young was arrested by Manitoba Royal Canadian Mounted Police for a spate of anti-Semitic vandalism in Winnipeg, which includes swastikas and references to MKY. This defendant concocted hate and fueled mass casualty plans and inspired others to commit attacks. Based on his vile rhetoric, said NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch, this was violent extremist intentions were clear: harm and kill as many Jews and racial groups as possible. This is another shocking spate of attacks inspired by a racial profiler and an anti-Semitic bigot who has wrote a handbook of hate, murder, rape, torture, you name it, and he's done it, and he's inspired others along the way. This could be another candidate for my scumbag of the week. Shalom, Maranatha, and hallelujah.